Welcome to the Football Fill-In. We have got a belter of an episode for you today. I'm joined by Troy Deeney and Super Dave Watson. It might be a new Premier League season, but it's same old from where I'm sitting. Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool all winning. And guess what? Referees are still having a stinker. So Football Fill-In, let's go.
Ozzy, we'll come to you first. Is it more of the same from City?
Yeah, it was a little bit, to be fair. Chelsea, they kind of put up a fight, but it's first day of the season. It's kind of like the bare minimum, really. But yeah, it was never really in doubt from Man City. They just look comfortable, composed, and I know a lot of people say that they start slow and it always takes them a few months to really get going. But yeah, if that's a sort of half-baked Man City, then the league's in trouble this season as per usual.
What do you reckon, Troy? Are Arsenal going to contend with them this year, or is it going to be, what is it, 5 in a row, 6 in a row?
It'll be 5 only. I saw. I worked Arsenal. I worked for TalkSport, so I was at the game. They weren't fully firing, but I think that's more because Wolves and Gaza set up to make it a crappy game. But when I saw City, the thing I really liked with City was not only the bench was a joke, but the way that they played was a bit more like, right, we know we're not firing, we're not at it, so they dropped off a little bit. They weren't pressing everywhere. Now we're kind of counter-attacking, and that's scarier than the fact that they can dominate a team and then go, do you know what? We're not that great actually at the minute, so let's sit back and counter-attack. And if they'd have got it right with Doku on maybe 4 or 5 occasions, that could have been 5 or 6.
I agree with Troy. That's the thing there is that's not the way that Man City play. It's not. But because it's early in the season and the fitness levels probably aren't still where everybody wants it to be, they decided to just sort of sit off a little bit. But still, even then, didn't they? They look comfy and they look like they were the only team that were going to go and win it.
Yeah, look, I think that's where this guy's at a different level to all the other managers because he knows where their players are at and he's happy to sit off. We're not quite at it. But I'll tell you what, out of all them Premier League fixtures this weekend, that's probably where Man City wanted to start, to be fair. Because Chelsea, I think the whole thing with that football club is disastrous, to be honest with you. And I think City could change the tactics. They played them in pre-season only 2 or 3 weeks before. Guardiola knows what to expect. Even though they're at home, Chelsea, they can't get a gallop going, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I want to talk in a minute, right? I want to talk about the Raheem Sterling statement. It's pathetic, by the way. But as a player, right, Troy, as an ex-player,
unemployed.
Say if somebody gave you a 9-year contract, right, at 21 years old, genuinely, like, let's talk about the real kind of like how this works. Somebody gives you a 9-year contract, right? That's not a good thing.
No. You're getting the cigars out instantly.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah, I think especially at 21, you don't really know yourself. You don't really know what you want. It's all a dream, isn't it? You're like, I want to play in the Prem or I want to win the Prem, depending on what level you're at. I don't want to go Champions League, and then I want to get international, and then hopefully the money all comes at the end of it. Now it's the other way. All the money comes there, the security comes. Well, 9 years.
Yeah, no.
Fuck it then. Like, that's how you're gonna go. You're gonna go. Fuck it. Then what's the point? I'll just keep grafting. And even if you are, let's say like a Jude, a top level pro, you will lose a little bit of the intensity because money is something that we're all thriving for, no matter what business you're in. Yeah. So once that's secure and taken off, you might lose 5% of your game.
It's massive though, isn't it?
Because if you sign for a club, obviously, and play well, you know you're going to get rewarded and that there's going to be a new contract if you do really well. But 9 years on good wedge, really good wedge.
I think the problem as well when it's like Chelsea, when everyone's getting 6, 7, 8, 9-year deals, there's like 5 players in your position, so you don't even feel like you're the man. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, this is what everyone does. Yeah. So if I'm not playing, like, who cares?
Do you remember Aubameyang used to do it years ago? He used to get down to like the last year or 2 of his contract, sign a new 5.
Try really hard then.
And then the cigar came out again.
It's Aubameyang?
Yeah.
You mean Adebayor?
Adebayor.
Oh, and Adebayor.
Adebayor.
Adebayor did it.
Oh, yeah,
Adebayor
was the best one.
Well, that wasn't it?
Down to the last 6 months. Yeah, I'll try now. Yeah, don't
and
mind
what about the size of the
Don't
squad? So I think they've got 42 on the website, 7 of which are goalkeepers. And we've talked a lot in the past about goalkeepers training and if you've got a squad or 3 or 4 goalies. What does training look like, Ben? let's say that...
You can't have 7 goalies.
What does training look like for 5?
You can't have 7. You can't have 5. Honestly, like we would train with 3 goalkeepers normally. You'd train with 3 goalkeepers,
Max
3
4.
first-team goalkeepers. Even when you had the 4th, I used to hate it with 4. I did. I used to hate it with 4. It took too long.
The rhythm and
the rhythm. It takes too long in between sets. You don't get to catch enough balls. So 3 was probably a perfect number for me. They've got 7, and they're all first-team goalkeepers. Yeah. So they're going to have, they must have different training groups, right, Water?
Well, they must have, or he's obviously the goalie coach is got to get some help, because I think whoever is the main man at that time, and you've certainly got an array to choose from, he wants a decent service, and 1 in 7 reps is not decent. It's not. He can't be ready to join in the first team training when you've got 7. You'd have to be out there at 6 in the morning to be ready. So I think the group must be split, but that then causes a little bit of animosity just within your own group, you know what I mean? So I don't think anything that Chelsea do in terms of the numbers makes things easier, because even 42 players for the manager and the coaches, it's just too many to be able to do things that you need to do. You must have so many members of staff, because the pitches are all full at all your players, and you can't get even if you want 22 together, you've still got another 22 players, not on your main field. So
Imagine.
Mate,
how do you get continuity? I don't even see how you can do it.
You could have, right, in pre-season, you could have a round robin, of 4 teams of 11. It's incredible.
And you've still got 4 goalies still twiddling the thumbs.
Mate, we had it at Watford the first year. The year I came out of jail, I remember I came onto training and there was 46 players. So there was an 11v11 on the main pitch. The gaffer Zola at the time was working with the 11 that were going to play the weekend, and there was 11 injured. And then I come out like I was like, what the fuck's going on?
Which group am I going to be in there?
Pre-season tournament with yourself.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But they kind of, I don't really know all the ins and outs, and obviously I work with Simon, so he tells me a little bit more about the FFP and all of that, but they're getting to a point where they're going to have to start shipping people out very quickly for little to no money.
But that's the problem that they're running into, though. They're trying to stockpile all these players on real long contracts because apparently they might have some sort of value because they're young and they're promising. But they're getting to the point where every other team looks at them and goes, well, you're desperate now.
Yeah.
You have to sell.
But what's Conor Gallagher go for, 30 mil?
30 mil. Like, he's an English
crazy.
international player who's done unbelievable for him. Any other team, he would be going for 60, 70 mil. That's what he would be going for. But because they know they're desperate now, they're just going to cut it by half. So they're killing themselves, really. We've got to talk about this Raheem Sterling.
Before we talk about Raheem Sterling, obviously, we need to get stuck into that. The one player, obviously, Man City signed a real note, Savinho.
Yes.
He was tidy.
Very good, wasn't he?
How good did he look, by the way,
tidy.
Troy?
Yeah, he was nice. I like the fact that he's just confident. There was a little moment, and probably only weirdos like me noticed it, but ball went out of play and he just controlled it on the side of his chest, flicked it up and just grabbed it on his foot and passed it to, what's his name, the big-haired fella, the left-back? Spanish left-back for Cucurella. Passed it to him on the side of his foot, and I was like, oh, my God.
Who are we talking about here?
Savinho, the Brazilian guy.
Yeah.
But ball went out of play.
And he still passed it back nicely.
He still passed it back nicely. And I just thought... Oh, you're a knob.
Yeah.
You're so good.
You're
so good.
Yeah, but he looked like he played football as though it's Sunday morning when you were a kid growing up. And do you know what? City paid good money for him, but they're not giving him a 9-year contract.
No chance.
And like Chelsea...
Did they only pay 30, though?
I think it might have been, 20 or 30.
But why didn't Chelsea sign for 20 and 30? They always go for the big money. They've lost all that. But City, that's a real good signing. Yes, he'll be earning fantastic wages, but they're not giving him 5, 6, 7, 8-year contracts. Ultimately, the point we went back to at the start, and when you're very young, money can make you very, very soft, unless you're in the top 1% that you've fought all your life to get to that point, and your 9-year contract's not your win, and you want to go on and win Champions League.
The money's the byproduct.
The byproduct. Yeah. But Arne's like that, and the Chelsea culture isn't producing that.
No chance. It's a payday. That's what it's turning into, isn't it?
Raheem Sterling. Come on. You've got some views on this.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. We've all, lads, all 3 of us, we've played football, and there's times where you're left out of the squad, and it's not nice. You don't enjoy it. You might get told the morning of the game. You might get told an hour and a half before the game's about to kick off.
You might not even get told.
You might not even get told. But it's part of being a footballer, yeah? It's part of life. That's how it goes. You just deal with it. You get into the training pitch on Monday. You try and work even harder, get your head down and show everybody that you should be in the squad. What Raheem Sterling and his team have done is put out a statement. And And this is the part of it that really makes me... Actually, the part of it that I'm going to read out is the end bit of the statement. And it's disgusting. It's, as a camp, we have always had a positive dialogue with and assurance from Chelsea FC in relation to Raheem's future at the club. So we look forward to gaining clarity on this situation. Until then, we will continue to support Raheem's desire to start the new season positively. What the heck is this all about? His camp, my camp, my team.
So Troy...
Why have we all gone to me?
Because I never had a camp.
So with the camp, that's not going out without Raheem say-so, is it?
You'd like to say no. It depends if he's handed full control over to them to do it. But I would say, I'd hazard a guess that he's not. I think it's a poor show, like Ben said. I think if I was captain, I'd be going, that's not right. Yeah, we need to nip that in the bud. Not on the game day, but literally today. Yeah. That'll be getting sorted. It's poor from him as well, because for Raheem, obviously he's still crazy talented and very, very good player. But now you make everybody else look at you like, well, why would I want to take that? Yeah. Yes, you still got 3 years left at Chelsea, but if he moves on, he could still go to top 4 club in any country. Yeah, he's still that good. So if you start seeing like my team, and then he's talking about the material that they were doing before, like so what you did a pre-game match, like in the program. Like, everyone does that. Like, do you know what I mean? So even the mascots do it now, don't they? Yeah. So like it's a bit. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. And also, if you do want to stay, moaning about it's not going to get you in. Figure it out and work on it.
That's all there is to it. Yeah. Get your head down and work hard. Don't make a song and dance.
Mate, we've all been there as well. You can be an arsehole in many other ways and still come back from it. Yeah. I don't think you can come back from it.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Chelsea's got that feel for it, and he's one of their most experienced players, and he's allowed his camp to put a statement out that really makes it very awkward for every member of staff and every player this morning. There's no need for it.
A couple hours before kick-off as well.
And before the first match. It's just not required, it's not needed, and like you said, he should get in this morning, get his gear on and say, right, I'm going to show you that I should be in this team. Got beat 2-0 at home. I'm better than X, Y, or Z, and I've got to show it.
But sorry, but just to go to your point now. It's about the culture, because at Man City that wouldn't happen. At Arsenal now that wouldn't happen. No. So when you start seeing about the winners, you never see these stories come out. Yeah. It's always about the teams now that it's become a bit of a circus, a bit of a sideshow. Definitely. And I think whenever someone leaves City or wants to leave, look at Cole Palmer. Apparently, the rumour is that he said he wants more game time. Pep said, there you go, the door's over there. Yeah. It's just that simple. It's finished. Yeah. Here now is a statement. The manager speaking about it before the game.
After the game.
We're speaking about it after the game.
Manager, one of the first questions he
was that? Yeah. About Raheem. So before and after we're speaking about this situation. Today they're speaking about it. Now they're going to have a meeting about it. And the guy wasn't even in the squad. Yeah. So he's still not even talking about football issues.
No, and that's the problem for the manager, isn't it? They got beat 2-0.
It's not a good look, is it? You've got Conor Gallagher on his holidays in Madrid taking having his picture taken, and nothing's happened there yet. Fozzie, is it jumping the gun to say this is the beginning of the end for Sterling at Chelsea?
Yeah, it probably is, to be fair. You've got to think as well. The problem that not only him, but there's an awful lot of players at Chelsea that they're earning crazy wages, and there's a lot of clubs that aren't willing to pay those crazy wages, especially for somebody that seems to be a little bit disruptive, or it seems to be kicking off around the edges when it doesn't quite go to plan or go to where they want it to be.
It'll be one of their highest earning players.
Without doubt, he will.
It's a shame, though, Fozzie, because he's not.
He's not.
We all know Reza, like, he's a good kid. He keeps his head down. He's never had that problem at Liverpool, never had that problem at City. Yeah. But going to the circus, you start acting like a clown.
If that's the sort of the way that the club runs, and that's the atmosphere, the fact that Enzo was a captain on Saturday after what happened in the Copa America, the fact that Enzo's captain in the first place, he's a young kid, he's 20 years old, 21 years old.
He's a senior pro there now, though. All 17.
That's what I mean. But what does he know about being a captain for a football team, like really leading?
Not like that, or at that level for Chelsea.
I'll guarantee you he's not the one going around the change room getting older people going, don't do that, watch that, don't do this, don't do that.
It's really funny that you say that, because a lot of people that watch this, like the YouTube and the younger generation, they'll go, but he played for Argentina and he won the World Cup. It's like, but he was a part in that. He wasn't the reason.
No.
So do you know what I mean? Like,
there are some actual captains in that Argentina team.
Absolutely,
You look throughout the spine of that team, they've got leaders all throughout the team, from the goalkeeper to the very front man in Lionel Messi. They've got leaders, so he hasn't got to worry about doing that because that's not going to be his job.
Would you be worried if you're a Chelsea fan? Obviously, they've got a rich history, and you've got Chilwell, Gallagher, Chalobah, Sterling. These are like 4 British good lads. And they're seen to be being frozen out.
I'd say I don't think the British part of it plays any part of it, for the simple fact that I've still got Reece James and obviously trying to look at, you got to have a quota, haven't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think that's a part of it. I think the frustration I felt yesterday when watching the game was that they were booing, they were getting frustrated because it is a style of play that they're probably not used to. Their most successful years have been with Drogba, JT, Lamps, which was, we're coming at you all guns blazing, and we're gonna dominate, but we're physically gonna dominate. Yeah. Whereas now it's very passive play. Like it annoys me when everyone tries to beat Man City. Yeah. Because they're the best at it. Yeah. So why are you trying to beat them at it? Do something a little bit different. The best game I watched was Liverpool Ipswich this weekend. Yeah. Because Ipswich tried to do something different.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Tried to do something different, but now and probably the double-edged sword to that is because Vinny Company gets the Bayern job. Why are you going to come away from your principles? Because even though on a relegation, he gets one of the best jobs in world football.
Football's changed, lads. Honestly, football's
It's not
changed.
about winning, as long as you play.
It's not about winning anymore. It's like everybody just wants to keep developing until they get to the end of your career and we're like, oh shit, I forgot that I actually
have to win a game.
I thought I had to do something. Jeez.
Right, on to Arsenal. Good start for Arsenal. We talked last week, actually, about Arsenal. Do they need that number 9? And a couple of people kind of made comments in the comment section saying they scored 91 goals last season. I think it was 4 or 5 less than City. And it got me kind of thinking, do they need a number 9? Or is this just a style of play? They share the goals around the team.
They do need a number 9. I think Havertz has done a very good job, and he was good again the other day. The reason you need a number 9 is when you need a goal for City, who's gonna get it?
Yeah, big man.
Haaland. When Tottenham needed a goal, it was Kane. Like, you need someone in those difficult moments that you rely on. That's where the goal's coming from. I think if you saw the back end of the year, Champions League semi-final, was all saying they needed a striker. Then we started going, actually, the left-back situation's a bit of a problem there because this style of play is all good against, with great respect, Wolves and teams alike. But to get over the hump, you've got to beat City. And you can't do that at the minute. And people go, oh, we beat them last week. But you can't beat them over the course of a season. To get to where you want to get to the Champions League, you got to beat Bayern's, Real Madrid's. And even Real Madrid went to City and went, they're better than us, let's sit back.
Brilliant.
But they've got goals in Vinicius Junior and people like that. So I think you need a main striker and a main goal scorer. I thought on the day, the only goalkeeper that did well this year was David Raya. Made a big save at 1-0 from the header. Yeah. If that goes in, it changes the game. But listen, they're the top 2. City and Arsenal, they're miles and above everybody else, and everybody else is playing catch-up.
Well, so talking about the goalies then, Fozzie, come to you. So David Raya had a really good game. I heard Big Joe talking about him, match of the day. Really good debut on match of the day for Joe, by the way. But he never seems to be in the conversation for the league's best goalkeepers. But is he up there now?
Because he's not.
Well, there you go.
Because he's not.
Is he not?
No, do you know what he is? He goes under the radar, right? He does a job for Arsenal of what they need him to do. He doesn't go... I don't think he try... I think the reason why not many people speak about him, because he don't make too many mistakes, and he rarely makes too many big saves.
He doesn't make mistakes that cost him a goal.
Yeah, exactly.
He can shank a ball straight to them.
If it costs him a goal and it goes in the back of the net, people will talk about it forever and a day. Yeah. But if you get away with it, it kind of just goes under the radar a little bit. But Arsenal just keep winning. It's as simple as that. And whilst he's in goal and he's making match-winning saves like he did on Saturday against Wolves, and it was a fantastic save, to be fair, because he's moving to his left, but he managed to fling the arm out and make the save to the right. Keeps you in. It keeps you in games, right?
Spoken like a true goalie.
Basically, that is as good. That save's as good as a goal. As good as a goal. It's as good as
better than a goal, isn't it?
Striker scoring a goal at the other end. So
would he have been criticised if that goal would have gone in, Troy?
No, I think it was, personally, again, all jokes aside, it was a top save. Obviously, I was there, but I think the kid should score. Like all the powers on the ball. He's tried to head it when you just got to guide it, and but he's just. The heading's got out of the game as well. That's a whole other topic we can talk about. But I think David Raya, he's good. But when you talk, it depends what you look at in terms of goalies, and we were speaking off air, I think I've been fortunate. Every goalie that I've had in my career has been great, even the fella sat next to me. So, but the one thing that was different to all of them was I could rely on them to do the basics really well. I think now, shot stopping, coming and commanding your area, talking is like 6th and 7th on the list. It's like, can you play? Can you?
Yeah, but that's why he does well, isn't it? I mean, if you were still playing, you'd like to play behind them two at Arsenal.
He's a modern goalkeeper.
He's a modern goalkeeper.
He's a very modern goalkeeper.
And he's not going to have to make that many saves because the two centre-halves in front of him are phenomenal. But I'm like you. Is he good with the ball at his feet? Yes. But is he the very best at it? No, he's not. No. And to be fair, he's been fortunate that Arteta's really backed him and put him in the team. And he's in a very, very good team. And he's not going to get caught out coming for too many crosses because he's not that way. Yeah. He can make the reactive saves, which he makes. Yeah. And he's still, and they still believe, I think, that he can get better and better with the ball at his feet. Mm-hmm. And that's why he's in goal for Arsenal. But you'd like to play behind them two centre-halves.
I think it's one of the questions that we've got on the screen here is Raya one of the best goalkeepers in the league? He never seems to be in the conversation. And I agree with Troy. I don't think he is one of the best goalkeepers in the league. I really don't. Physically, you can just tell he's not one of the best goalkeepers in the league. There's so many big, strong, physical specimens of goalkeepers nowadays, not only in the Premier League, all throughout Europe, that you look at and you go, you have the potential to be one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I mean, Man City and Liverpool have got probably the two top goalkeepers, as well as Emi Martinez as well. But you look at them and they're athletes. They're big and strong. Big and strong. Emi Martinez, you see him, he comes out for crosses like it's no one's business. He will come out happily, punching people. I watch that, I think, that's what I want in my goalkeeper.
You look at like Nick Pope at the weekend. I'm not suggesting he's in quite the same category, but
why not?
Because he's big.
Yeah. Why not though? Because the thing is, it's about styles, right? So he commands his area better. These are better experts than me, but just as a captain, commands his area, know what you're going to get. He's never less than 8 out of 10. Always reliable, makes big saves. What? Because he can't pass out from the back as good as Raya. He's not as good a goalie.
He's not a modern goalkeeper. That's it. It's mad, isn't it?
Nonsense.
But he can do it. He can do it.
Of course he can do it. But
he's been in the environment to do it. And to be fair, Eddie Howe still plays, and they still play, and he does his business. So he is up there because he uses.
But it's not sexy though. It's not a sexy name, is it as well? This is the thing that doesn't matter.
He's been in the gym in the summer, Nick Pope. We're going to get back to that. I swear on my life, I'll show you a picture in a minute. Nick Pope has been in the gym.
He looks good, doesn't he? He's whammo.
You talk about all these things we're talking about. Arsenal won that game because the Wolves goalie were a disaster in that game, and it's a 2-0.
Yeah.
That's the game.
What were Arsenal like in the game in general?
Clunky. Wasn't free-flowing. It looked like they were trying to score a perfect goal. Yeah. Saw a few little issues that could potentially come up. I thought Martinelli had a few times he could have just squared it and someone scores, but he's thinking like, I've got to score now because Trossard's going to play. Yeah. Do you know that kind of early season? And Saka he was a level above. Like he was first 15, Wolves did well, and then they started opening up, thinking right, I could have a go here, and he just every time he got it, he's like, he's going on his left foot, show him on the outside, and they keep going now. Oh, go on then, just have a shot. So he cut in on his left. Whips the ball in, keeper comes out of nowhere. But it's a good header from Havertz. And the second one, he's breaking away. You're like, please, show him down the line. Oh, no, show him inside, touch, reverse finish.
Can't let Bukayo Saka come inside on that left foot.
But it's like no one does any research anymore. You know they've been told. You know the coaches have done it. And it's like, well, he's left-footed. Well, if he goes on the outside and scores with his right foot, that's one we can live with. But if you're going to show him onto his best foot, one of the best players in the world at his position, well, then you're asking for trouble.
Wolves decent, though?
No, Wolves were crap, mate.
Were they?
Yeah, they were crap. I felt bad for Gaz, to be fair, because they're well drilled, well organised, but when they get past the halfway line, nothing going forward. But they've sold
Pedro Neto.
Absolutely. The other striker who signed, he was okay. He's all right. He'll get you 6 goals a season. Yeah. But need a winger with real pace, and then they need like someone in the middle that's like. They've got Podats, they've got Doyle, who they're nice players, but they need someone with like 6'2".
Need a presence up there.
Yeah, because Arsenal just ran over them. Every single one of Arsenal midfielders, Odegaard, Rice, Partey, were all like just big units. It looked like boys v men.
That's good, isn't it, to hear about Arsenal, that? You never really hear about Arsenal being big, strong units.
No, but
do you know what I mean?
They need to do something different to get closer to City, don't they?
Do you remember standing in the tunnel against, and I'll never forget, our first time we played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Diego Costa, Oscar, JT, Gaz Cahill, Who was in goal?
Czech
in goal. Friggin' Ivanovic.
Fullback, yeah.
Mate, I do strength, so I'm thinking, like, I've got a chance. And I walked in, I went, fuck it out. Because I'm 6'1", so as I've looked up, and every single one of them, you're looking up, going, oh my God.
Yeah, and they're really good at football as well.
But like, we're going to have to deal with these physically. And
tough afternoon.
That's what I think Arsenal started to get into their game now. And people don't appreciate just how big all of these boys are.
Do you think Wolves will be all right this season, Ben?
I do think they'll be all right. I think Gaz O'Neill's he's a good manager. I think he's done really, really well, hasn't he? And I think he'll make that Wolves team. Whether they might not have the ability technically, they will outwork an awful lot of teams. There'll be a lot of teams that they will be able to run over and overwork, and that's what we'll get.
They'll be better than the other three that came up.
Yeah.
My lad said to me, we're all Wolves fans in the family, and he said, "Where do you think we're going to finish this season, Dad? I think we're going to come 8th." I was like, "Mate, anywhere between 10th and 14th, another good season.
It's a win, isn't it?
It's
That's
a win.
massive. Honestly, from what I've seen, 10 and 14th is a massive season. I think it's a 17th to 15th job.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where the goals are coming from. And as you've seen with the goalie, you're not going to keep many clean sheets. The boy Totti, he falls over his laces. He's a car crash. Remember I said that on here. He's a car crash.
Okay. Right, on to Ipswich then. Watto, what are we saying? Ipswich, Liverpool.
What a
Ipswich
game.
were pretty bright, weren't
I
they,
watched the
first half?
game and I really liked it. I think for a new team coming, hey, look, they're at home. The fans have not had a Premier League game for 30 years. Everybody's with it. But I think McKenna set them up and they went for it. And to be fair, Liverpool had been glad for the half-time breather because obviously their manager then gets fired into them, makes a change and just like...
Massive change up.
Yeah, and his whole thing was that they weren't winning the physicality, they weren't winning the duels in the first half, and Ipswich, to be fair to them, had a right crack at it. It looked pretty dangerous from some set plays, and Alisson made a couple of decent saves, and certainly on the one big opportunity on the counter-attack.
Yeah.
I thought when Liverpool had the corner and they won the tackle on the edge of the box, and the passing, if he'd have played the pass in front of him rather than wide, because we know Alisson's going to be really high, and on his left foot he could have just gone boom. But the pass just took him in that bit, and yes, he's always coming inside on his left foot, and it kind of petered out. But I thought they had some real moments. But in the second half, Liverpool got their act together, and in the end, it could have been 5 or 6. But that's the quality difference that you get to. But I think Ipswich will have something to grab onto for that. And I think if you're a Liverpool fan, you think, well, clean sheet, 2-0, and they look pretty decent, and especially in the second half. But it's hard to judge where they're at because they're playing Ipswich and it's a newly promoted
That's the difference, though, isn't it? Like, the 2 goals, it's just real quality at the Premier League. Like that ball from, was it Trent for the first goal?
It's
class.
Leif Davis got caught on that about 16 times in the game. It's just one thing that you've been there, same as me. When you're playing in the Champ and you think you lot are mint, and like we was a Watford, we were decent, and you go into the Prem and you go, oh yeah, we're so bad. Like you don't realise just how big the jump is. So if you've gone from League One to the Champ, it's a decent jump. Yeah. If you go from the Champ to the Prem, it's a quantum leap. It's so big.
And is that's everyone's going to be really fit at that level? But is it just that quality where it matters, Troy?
There's about 5 things: how good they are, how big they are, how well they move, how they're just ruthless.
Yeah,
committed, they don't go, oh, Ipswich are coming up, this will be a nice day for them. It's like, kill them. Yeah. And what you realise is, when you start playing against the big boys, we got dicked a few times by City and Liverpool. Yeah. Well, the big one, you was there, I weren't there for that. But
that's why, isn't it?
Yeah. But when you play against the big boys, they just move the sound of the ball's different. When they pass it, it's like, boom, boom, and you're like,
yeah, but everything in here is 2 yards quicker as well.
Oh yeah,
oh my.
That's why they got in at half time, and Liverpool, even though they hadn't played great, I think they still knew they were going to win the game because Ipswich had given everything they've got in that first half. And what Liverpool have to almost do is go, right, just get into half time because we know we're fitter than them. They're going to blow a gasket, and eventually we'll start opening up some holes. And it's exactly what it was. That ball from
after
Trent,
60, would it?
Salah runs onto it perfectly. The left back, the poor lad. Again, going back to your point there, in the Championship, he's got time to turn around and still get back and make that tackle. In the Premier League, game over.
Done.
Honestly, it's game over.
Do you think? I think it's quite smart that they haven't made like wholesale changes in the summer. And Fozzie, do you think Liverpool will need to get bodies through the door, or do you think it is a really smart thing, just letting it all settle and letting the new manager work with the players they've already got?
I do think we spoke about it on last week's show, didn't we? That the only worry I've got for Liverpool is the fact that you've got Trent and you've got Virgil van Dijk contract running out at the end of the season, and and Mo Salah, sorry, may as well chuck Mo in there as well. Contracts running out at the end of the season, and you know as well as me, Troy, that you don't get to the last year of your contract without contract negotiations already have taken place. Especially, I'd say the fact that Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk are a little bit older, it can be understandable sometimes, and you get down.
Not when you're that good.
Probably not when you're that good. Even at this point, it should have been sorted already. But it's kind of a little bit more leeway on it, I suppose. And if they've had those conversations, and Mo and Virgil are like, I love this place, then you could understand. But for Trent to get down to 1 year.
What is he, 25, 26?
Something's going on. Something's going on.
He's gone. You'd like to say, you'd hazard 90% he's gone.
Yeah.
The fact that it's at this point and it's not, because there's so much value in him, whether you look at it from football, whether you look at it from advertising, there's so much value in Liverpool to go, here you go. Salah's leaving, what's Salah, 32, 33? Yeah. You take his contract, for example.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at Liverpool, I don't think it's a case of they've not tried to get people in. I think a lot of people like us, players as well, going, I don't really know what they're doing. Let's sit and watch. And then also, do they have the finances to go and get someone at 40, 50 million?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. They probably could do that, but they'll probably have to get rid of one because their finances were an issue last year as well. Do you remember when they were trying to rejig the midfield? So I think they're in a situation where what's available, is there anything better than what they've got in their starting 11? Or are we going to sit and go, right, we know we're losing Salah, we know we're losing Van Dijk, so let's keep the money this year so that next year we can have a right good go on centre-half.
You've probably got 600 grand a week there between Van Dijk and Mo Salah alone, them two, yeah? And then, again, going back to what Troy said then about Trent Alexander-Arnold, he knows that if he signs a new 4 or 5 year contract, he is a straightaway £100 million asset. Yeah? If somebody wants to buy him when he signs his new contract, it's £100 million minimum, absolute minimum. But Trent knows that. So he can say, right, you make me the highest paid player in the Premier League and I'll sign a new contract. And I could see that happening as well. He could hold out for it because if he goes on a free transfer to Real Madrid, he's getting 400 or 500 grand a week. He will.
Yeah, I think that's the benefit of not paying a transfer, isn't it? If the player can be a bit more demanding.
But I worry for him a little bit because I think all these players, obviously we know Klopp come out with a statement, and everybody loved him, didn't they?
Yeah.
He was the driving force behind the club. Players loved him. Even players who weren't in the team, you'd have never got the Sterling situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'd have talked to him, he got his arm around him, and there were a real mutual respect there. So I think certainly the two senior players, Salah and Van Dijk, will be looking at that thinking, well, look, our guy's gone here. And I know how much he really got into Van Dijk for him to leave Southampton, and the guy loved him. Yeah. So I think them kind of relationships, it's hard to put into context. Absolutely. So I think they'll just be waiting to see this, how it pans out with a new manager, and a decision will be made, and I think it could hurt Liverpool. The Trent one, even though he would have still been Klopp's kind of guy, because he's younger, it's just madness that it's allowed to happen.
I like the manager though, Slot. Yeah. I like the way he spoke afterwards. I like the decision to go right. Nice I like Quansah, but he's getting beat up, so off you come. There's no sentiment there. No. So he's obviously giving him a chance. Right, you didn't do it. Off you come. Canate straight in.
But it
bang.
sends a great message to the
Of course it does.
Is there still like the stigma of like getting subbed at half time can sometimes be like a thing, but is it just that's a thing of the past now?
I think that's a blessing in disguise for Quansah. I do. I think he'll learn so much from that. He knows he's been bullied.
He had a little bit too early though as well, in my opinion. I think he remembered the game at United last year when he's give it, and I think Fernandes scored straight away. Yeah, but I think he's a very good player. When I watch him, I see so much 21s football in him, like play, but he hasn't got that urgency of like, right, bang. And I said I said it before the season started, if they got rid of Van Dijk, every defender they've got is a number 2. Yeah. And it's so difficult to find a number 1 centre-back that bang, is the guy. And I just think with Quansah, he needs to come out, he needs to figure out who and what he is, and then go, right, I'm going to come in there. Because he's probably looking a little bit of Van Dijk going, oh my God, he's so good. Matip's the most calm, casual man you've ever seen. He's looking at Canate. He needs to figure out
where he wants to be.
Which one am I? Yeah, and who am I going to try and take on? Because Canate is a big lump.
I think it's hard. It's not hard. It must have your lows. But when you are playing against a Virgil van Dijk and he makes it so effortless.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
He is in control of every facet of being a defender. Honestly, he is.
Mate, we had it, and he's probably not going to like this, I know as you said, but when Batman was trying to be you, but he was, wasn't he? Because Danny's not great with his feet.
Be yourself, basically.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
What I mean, let me just clarify that. What I mean by that is, like, Fozzie's the nice lefty. He lets come across his body, take his touch, and he'd clip it out the other side. But it was effortless for Fozzie. He's been doing it he played until he was 40.
20 years, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing it forever. But then Dan Batman come in and he was like, right, I know I need to take you on because I want to be the first team. And he was trying to do it, but he was clunky.
Yeah.
So he'd take a bad touch and he kept getting closed down. You still see it now. He gets closed down on a lot of things because he was trying to be Fozzie. Do you get what I mean?
Absolutely.
Play
You
to
just
your
try and do it.
capabilities.
But that's not a dig at Danny, but it's just a perfect example as to what happens in the game. Like you look at someone who's ahead of you and you think, right, I need to do that to get in the team. When actually it's not. You're in the team because of what your skill set is.
Yeah, no, you can respect the guy who's in front of you and learn from that. But you've still got to be your own guy when it's your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true. I love that point. It's a really good point. He is. He's looking at Van Dijk and he's like, I can be that as well. You're not that guy yet, yeah?
No,
You're 21 years old. You're in the team for what you're good at, which is pacey, and you're good at playing the ball. You're not physical. You're not effortless. It doesn't come to you like that. You have to think about it. You have to work hard for it. And I think he just needs to get back to doing that. But I think it's, like I say, I think it's a blessing in disguise because he'd have watched that second half and gone, that's what the manager wants from me. That's what I need to be.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously they've lost, but it was an encouraging start for Ipswich, wasn't it?
Brilliant, mate. Yeah, I always think it's very tough playing newly promoted teams on the first game of the season, especially a team that hasn't been in the Premier League for 20, 25 years, like Ipswich. You know it's going to be like a carnival atmosphere. It's their big day, and you know they're going to be up for it. So they did fantastic. They just need to make sure they keep doing that for every single game this season.
Yeah, okay. And then, right, Watto, West Ham, Villa. Obviously, Lopetegui's come in, very different stylistically to Moyes.
Yeah.
Fair to say they were left wide open at times. Sorry?
Was it?
Was it?
I don't think so.
Come on, talk to me.
Come on, Em.
Exactly the same. Where did the goal come from? Goes out to the right back and hits a big diagonal to Soucek.
Penalty. Never a penalty, though, eh?
I know, but is it not what they were doing?
I think it was a very similar team as well.
It's exactly
Considering
the
they
same.
bought a load of players as well, there was virtually, I think, apart from there were 2 or 3 players that were different. It was a David Moyes team as well.
And they give the ball to Kudos. I hope he runs past 20 people.
People, please, would you? Yeah.
Cross it.
Yeah.
Mate, if that's a new, completely different style to Moisey, I'm clearly all my A license to that a waste of time.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I was watching the game, it was like just a masterclass from Villa. I mean, there should have been 5-6 up at half time.
It was criminal. It was all actually.
The penalty changed the game. I mean, for me, it's kind of the same old chat, isn't it, this season? Man City have won, and we'll talk about VAR controversy because I don't think it's ever a penalty. And somehow West Ham are back in the game, but Villa just kept going. And I thought they were phenomenal. And for an away performance, when it is Lopetegui's first match in charge of West Ham, and I actually thought he would try and do something different to David Moyes, to be fair, and try and really make them a better, more expansive. But they were just wide open. And I don't think Moyes ever liked his team being too wide open, but there was so much space for Villa.
But you know why I didn't want them wide open? And we could still talk about it because we played against a lot of these players that are playing. Soucek's a big physical lump. He gets up and down the pitch, but he's not going to run away from you.
No.
So that midfield, he couldn't allow it to get too big because they get run over, which is what you saw today. Not today, on the weekend, sorry. So when you see Villa and Onana, big, powerful unit, but my God, he's like Dukes here, and he just runs away from you. So when I was watching West Ham, I'm like, similar to you, right, what are we seeing that's different here? And they put this stat up halfway through. I don't know if you remember. They were like, against the top 6, David Moyes had 29% possession on average, and today they had 45, and it was like, brilliant, yeah, but you don't come back your own half.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So it's like you're just keeping the ball for nothing. Yeah, I'm not having that. It's a massive change. Listen, he might completely blow out the water, and I'm wrong, and I hope I am, but to get rid of Moisey because of the style of play, and then your goal comes from go to the right back and it's a big diagonal to.
It weren't even just the goal. The style of play in general was very similar. Villa just dictated and dominated the whole game. It doesn't get off to a great start, to be fair, for West Ham when the ball comes into the box and he's headering it in 2.5 yards out.
Yeah.
Areola, Watto, talk to me about Areola there. Because I'm not happy with that. When it's a new season, brand new season, right, you're starting the game, everybody's the same, you go, well, I want to get off to a good start.
Absolutely.
I want to get off to a good start. But I don't want to get out my comfort zone too much, right? I just want it nice and comfy. Somebody just float one into my hands or something.
Well, basically,
it's an unbelievable ball, it's a whip ball, but Areola has to
the height on the ball gives you a chance. The defenders can't get there. It's an in-swinging ball, so the zones have all gone in narrow, and at that point, you're thinking, right, if this ball's above my head and it's a decent size above my head, I need the goalie to come and do something. Yeah. And he just says, all right, I'm going to stand on my line.
But one thing that you and Gomi used to do really well, you used to say, even if it was an in-swinger, they used to say to us, stay up, give me enough
need a
room,
bit of
let me
space
to
to
come and
work.
do it, yeah. So then we always used to know, because I used to be the zone, didn't I? So it used to be, if it's on my right shoulder, Fozzie's coming for that.
Yeah.
So if it's an in-swinger from
Inside,
the right, if it's on my inside shoulder, I know Fozzie's coming for it. Anything from my head outwards is me.
You deal with it.
Yeah. So that, and
But then that's the importance of what you're saying about the position, because they went really narrow.
Yeah.
Really narrow on him. And I just think
that's
that's
not the keeper's job, though, to go
move. Of course.
Yeah.
But you know the size, what you talked about, physicality. West Ham still got massive physicality.
Yeah.
So he's thought, I'm safe here. They can come into that bit. But the ball's so high above the heads. You as a zone have got no chance. And that's where the goalie's got to come into his fore. But before that ball's even hit, he's allowed the zones to come onto him. He said, they're going to clear that, guys. Yeah. 2 minutes in, mentality's not there.
He's made that decision before the ball's even been kicked.
Absolutely.
That's the bit I don't like that, because that's where you really need to be on the front foot and really go, nah, I'm going to have
And do you
my
know,
team
every day they've done it in training, and match day -1, when they're doing the set plays, he'll have never come for the ball because they're going boom.
Boom. Clear that. Oh, I love that. Clear that. So he's thinking, I ain't got to come for nothing today. This is golden.
There wasn't a huge amount of talk on TV about it either. No. And is that because the defenders, like, I looked at just layman, like, watching it and thinking, there's quite a lot of traffic in there. And is that what you're saying about just getting those defenders, the goalkeeper pushing them further up?
Doing their jobs. And I just think it's somebody that's going out the game. I never wanted to be that guy that sounded like I'm negative, like, oh, in my day it was like this, because I played 6 months ago. So it's hardly as if I'm completely out of it. But you have set-piece coaches now who go, do this, do that, do that. And every player goes, well, if it goes wrong, set-piece coach told me to stay out.
Well, I got blamed for so many goals going in. I said, I'm at 60 yards away here, like, you know. We've done all the work. We've gone through every scenario. But you've got to step up a little bit and take some autonomy when you're on the field.
Absolutely. But they don't think anymore. And that's why I start looking at certain players, like, we'll get onto him in a bit, but when you see Eze playing, you're like, oh my God, he's so good, because he thinks off script. Everyone now is scripted and plays to do what the manager says, do this. But that's a different conversation. On Villa, because you know it pains me to talk about those, but they're very, very good. I do worry. I've got two concerns. One, the midfield, when they have to start breaking teams down. So they've lost Louise, who I thought was their best footballer. Now they're going to be a bit more, workmanlike's the wrong word, but they're going to crash, bang, wallop. And then when the Champions League comes in, have they got the depth then to start throwing the players?
That would be the big. We saw Newcastle last year.
Yeah.
Not a disaster, but not the greatest of Premier League season, because the Champions League takes so much out of you. You think once that starts, it's travelling an awful lot.
People don't understand the travel, though, do they? That's the thing.
The what, sorry?
You're travelling, how much you are travelling on planes, up, down.
It does, it ruins you. It's not necessarily even the extra games, the 6 extra sort of league games in the Champions League. It's going to take a little bit out of you, but it's the mentality that it takes out of you, the toll of that, of travelling on a Monday, getting back on a Thursday, another game on a Sunday, and then it's just...
I think that's where people don't see it, and you're 100%, because the top ones do it time and time again. Villa have only just got back into it, but the tap's dripping. You're losing bits every week when you're like that, and it's the holy grail, so you want to do well in it, and it's full gas, and that tap's just and the bowl's getting fuller as the season goes along, and sometimes you haven't got anything to get you back out of that mould, you know.
And the difference is, like your cities, all the people that are used to doing it, their facilities are based for that.
So they're set up good to go.
For the average listener won't understand this, but the plane, you can get on a normal plane, or you can get on the plane that you used to travel. It's got a bit more leg room, all your stuff's done that. The recoveries, the physios. Like, are you landing back and everyone's shooting off? Well, if you look at Ronaldo and the like, it's landing back straight to the training ground, do a bit on the bike.
Straight in the cryo.
You get me doing all of that stuff. So it's a case now of, like, for Villa and team Newcastle last year, that's all new. Yeah. So for lads, 9 times out of 10, you just want to go home. You don't want to do the extras, but it needs a physio department that goes, no, we're doing this. And I know it's going to, I know it's going to be uncomfortable. I know you're not going to like it, but this is what we have to do, and that's the bit that they're all going to start learning on the job.
Sure. So Brighton, obviously, good start for them, beating Everton, Fozzie. Couple of things. Ashley Young was 39 last month. When the Brighton manager was 9, Ashley Young made his first Premier League appearance.
Jesus Christ. What do you make of that, Troy? What would you think if a 31-year-old came in and was manager of your team?
See how good he is. Like anyone you probably give him... I think this is a confusion for fans as well. As players, how long do we really give a manager? A week? So what's his first presentation like? How does he handle himself around...
That's the big one, isn't it? The first presentation is massive, by the way. It's massive.
How does he handle himself around the staff and the people like the security, or the people that we know and interact with him, the canteen staff? what's his training sessions like? How has he handled problem A that we knew was a problem before? Has he come in and nipped it in the bud? Is he letting it carry on? So it's probably a week, isn't it? And you go, right, people have sussed the person out. So that's...
I know some managers who've lost the job on that first presentation and certainly on the first training.
It's mad,
and you know it's happening.
It's so interesting.
But people think like we're being old school, but it's not. Like if you're... we was at Watford, so we had a lot of foreign managers. So if a foreign manager comes in and is trying to be like, I own this room, but the English is not good enough, and they make one mistake, say the word, the lads will start laughing.
Yeah.
And depending on how that person reacts, depends on if they're going to last or not. But most people, we had, remember when Javi Garcia was in there? His English wasn't great, was it?
Yeah.
But he made a laugh out of it. He used to say like people's names wrong, but not intentionally. So then he just started making jokes at himself. So now everyone's like, oh, fair play, he's trying. And then we ended up obviously getting to the FA Cup final, but you can lose it in that first week. But I think, never mind him being 31, Youngie being 39 and still starting, he's a testament to how good he is as a pro and a model pro. But how bad Everton are. I love Dyche to death, but if I'm a young lad there and there's a 39-year-old playing, I'm questioning whether this Premier League stuff's ever for me. If you're 17, 18, 19 in Everton's youth team, you've got to go, how is Youngie playing ahead of me?
Especially in this modern day football where it is just purely about being an athlete now. You have to be an athlete. You have to be able to put in.
When he got sent off, though, he was like me and you running. He was like me and you running. Oh, it was a hard watch, that one. When he's chasing back, you're like, oh.
Just, when you respect somebody and you know him. But that's what you're saying about he has a bad touch, but he knows it's finished at that point. He cannot recover. And because, I know him as well as you, not as well as you guys, but I know him and he's a great lad, proper pro, and he'll be everything that Dyche wants there, but the legs are going a little bit. That's the reality, you know.
So Ben, you were with Ashley Young. He was a very young player at Watford. What, in 2005?
5, yeah. 5. Incredible.
I was still at school then, if that makes you feel better.
Honestly. Oh, God.
And just quickly on James Milner broke the record, so that was this is now his 23rd Premier League campaign.
It is. It's incredible.
And actually, I think it was the BBC put out something or another saying, and there's people that have got the front to almost go, oh yeah, 23 years of this or that, and being 23 years, Troy, of playing in the big league.
To be in any business at any level at that top for that long shows how good of a human he is, first and foremost. Because we've all been there with players who were good, talented, and Ravel Morrison, unbelievable player, has not been able to get a club. Why? You've got to be unbelievably good, unbelievably fit, a nice person. Can you still keep up with the demands? He's seen 2 decades of change in football. So when he came through at Leeds, it was 4-4-2, get after it, go through relegation. Then he's obviously, all the career, he's gone to City, he's changed his style, he's gone to Villa.
He's adapting.
And he gets better, and he can play anywhere. He can play anywhere. So for anyone who writes anything negative about James Milner, you've got no respect in yourself. That's why you're talking nonsense on other people.
The people that are saying negative stuff about James Milner is like us when the Olympics was on the other week. We were all going, look at the state of that. And it's like,
no, but come on. I could have done that Aussie breakdance. I can do that.
Don't be talking about Reagan, Watto. I'm not having it, all right? I'm not having it.
But Brighton, in fairness to them, I wouldn't have predicted this result, but it doesn't surprise you, does it? It doesn't surprise you because Brighton do what Brighton do. I couldn't tell you probably 7 or 8 of their players. I genuinely couldn't.
I was same as you until I was flying out to Germany to do the first game, and I was on the same flight as Tony Bloom. So just chatting, and I was like, what about this? What about this fella then? And he's like, mate, he's the nuts. He said he's the youngest, I get all of that, but he's the nuts. The way he delivers, the way he plays. We've been looking at him for 2 years, and I'm like, huh? Like, wow. He would have been 29. Where did you know? Where was he at college?
That's the top clubs, isn't it? That's where they're doing the back. So Chelsea might have got a good manager. We don't know. Obviously, it's really difficult in there. But at Brighton, they're just on the merry-go-round and managers and coaches. The homework's getting done. And other clubs have got to see that and say, boom, that's where we've got to get to.
I was talking to him about Pedro. I was like, oh, is this his breakout year? He's like, oh, you might see him in a different position this year. And you're like, what? Where? He's a striker, isn't it? No, maybe you thought of him as number 10. And you're like, yeah, actually makes a lot of sense. But you just start understanding where they're at, and they're not thinking of here and now. They're looking at 7 to 8 months down the line, which is, I think, for any manager, the security in that, and knowing that, right, there's a process and we're going to do it. And as long as you're accountable to your actions, then they're going to be fine. And again, their recruitment's been spoken about for years, but even all of that being said, still got Welbs up front scoring.
Yeah, I know.
And what a finisher.
Yeah, but you've got... This is what frustrates me now. Everyone wants to go young and youthful and get the average age down, but it's about your senior pros. So you've just took Welbs scores. You've got James Milner.
Lallana was there.
Yeah, Lallana. They realise you need pros in the building to get hold of all it. Having young talent, having young players is great, and you wish them all the best, but they need to know what it's like at the level, what it's like to be a pro, what it's like to train every day, what it's like when you drop out of a squad so you don't act like Raheem. You know, all of these things, they need that to be taught.
Well said. Very good.
And there's a 36-year-old that needs a job, so...
I'm that guy, it's me.
It was worrying for Everton, Fozzie.
Yeah, very
worrying start, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Especially at home as well. First game of the season. The way Daichi likes to play is obviously in their face. They finished last season. I thought last season was an absolute success for them, considering the points deduction that they had to finish in the position they did. Again, it kind of slightly surprised me because I thought Everton would get really in their faces, but I don't think they even lifted a finger on Brighton, really. Brighton just looked...
There's a lot of lads trying to get out there. That's how I looked at Everton.
I don't really know. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes at Everton, but it doesn't seem like it's a club that know...
But there's rumours in there that they might struggle to pay the bills all this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, the stadium's coming.
That's next year. I mean, it's so big this year. I mean, you can't envisage a team like Everton getting relegated, but to start in a new stadium, a league below, is just unthinkable. But I think they've got a lot of problems with the financial fair play.
And if you're Pickford... Dukesy, there's a lot of big players that are there, like who have a high opinion of themselves, and rightly so. They can't be going another relegation battle, so they might be angling behind the scenes to like, is there any way of me getting out here? So I think it's a difficult three or 4 weeks for Daichi, but what he always does, as soon as that window closes, I guarantee you, because I've been there, he'll have a meeting the next day and go, right, it's just us versus the world.
Yeah, you're here now.
That's what it's us versus the world. Yep. So whatever's gone on before, put it away, and then they'll start to pick up, because he's got this way of galvanising, and he just gets everyone in. You just want to run for a brick wall for him.
Love that.
Okay, and then talking about Man United and Fulham, they squeezed past Troy. What's your expectations for United this year?
I still think top 8. I don't think...
I thought he was going to say top 4. I still think top 4. He said top 8.
Top 8. Do you know why? Because I think there's so much.
That's what I think. I thought you were going to jump in for top 4.
Oh, no. Top 8. The reason I think top 8, I think there's still a lot behind the scenes that needs to get fixed. Yeah. Listen, the paint job down the tunnel, which the lap mentioned about 3 times, that's not really the issues that's going on. Obviously, they're buying in the market. I still think De Ligt is a very good centre-half. I don't think he's what everyone expects. So I think he's better. He's going to be an upgrade on Varane because he's a bit more mobile, younger, can still play. But he's not the De Ligt that was 5 years ago. So I don't think you're going to get that player. But I do think he's going to be able to get hold of it. Their injury record, people are still getting injured. So, something has to change there. And then I still don't know who that front three is. I know when Højlund's back, he's the main striker, but he's a bit like Darwin Núñez. Is he going to get you all the goals? I like both of them. I think they're very good team players, but you need goal scorers to get in that top 4. But I thought the boy who come on, Xerxes, they need to realise how to use him, because he picks up some lovely positions and they just weren't getting in the ball quick enough. So a lot going on there. Still got Sancho. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? They've got Marcus, who I thought looked bang average again. And then the one thing that pisses me off is if he would have missed that chance that Garnacho missed, it's on every paper and Marcus is going for a drought. He squares it like a good pro, like he should do. The kid misses from 6 yards out, open goal, and no one speaks about it.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
It's not been spoken about. So it's like, I think they're okay. I would love to know what you two think. I think the goalkeeper scares the life out of me.
Yeah.
He scares the life out of me.
And me also. But I'm like you, I can't see anything better than top 8. I just can't see it.
No, even the mentality of the way that they play, they don't press, they don't get in front. They're happy to let
that though.
Play out from the back.
I liked that, what they did. They realised, we're not quick.
They haven't got the players or ability to do that.
No, just drop back.
And that's the reason why they were top 8, and that's what it's going to be for them. That's all it's
counter-attack teams,
Yeah, I thought I'm same as these guys really. I thought he was okay. I thought Fulham looked decent for a first game night of the season. I wanted to see all sorts. I wanted to see players flying around, and nobody did. Nobody.
Well,
really
apparently, according to Lissandro Martinez, Adama Traore sent him back to the gym, didn't he?
Oh, relax. Relax. Did you not see the first 10 seconds?
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you played in the game. I still remember when he came on FA Cup semi-final, mate. And I thought, he come on in extra time, so I'm trying to help out. We're winning. I've ran to catch him, mate, and he just went, and I went, it's not my game.
Nope.
You go, that's not my game. I'm up here, lads, just hitting on the diet.
The one that Martin has gone about as well, he's so off balance.
Yeah.
Well,
I like the banter of it. Yeah. I do like the banter of it. I do worry about Martinez. I think he's a very good player. He's the new modern day tough guy, isn't he? Because, again, not to be about me, I'd have chewed him up. Because you don't have to fight him. You literally just pin him with your arm. And everyone now wants to fight him. I don't understand. He's got this like little aura.
Yeah.
He's like, don't fight him. Just stand there. You're literally bigger than him. Take it on your chest. If he hits you in the back, go down. Can I do it 3 times? You'll get a card.
Yeah.
So it's just, and again, even with Adama, I love him, but if he realised all I have to do is kick it and run. Anyone that played Pro Evolution back in the day, double tap R2, just run, mate. Just kick the ball and run. That's what you're good at. You're probably going to fall over and kick it out of play.
You know what's mad though? Like players nowadays, you could have the fastest players in the world, and they still wouldn't do that because it's not cool. It's not like.
But it's effective.
But they think they have to be that lovely player that plays a 1-2 and then gets into space or plays lovely technical football.
He looks like a pit bull. He's never going to look.
Run it round and go after it. That's all you need to do, don't you?
Yeah, I love Adama, but he's built like a pit bull. He's never going to look finesse. Yeah. He just kick it and run and pass it across the box.
Yeah, true that.
Right, when you go into Newcastle and Southampton, Fozzie, we were chatting about this off camera. Ben Diaz, Schar, red card. What do you make of this, mate?
Mate, it wasn't a red. I'm not having it as a red card.
If you're going to book it,
the headbutt.
It's not even a headbutt.
Why are we calling that? Honestly, my son did that to me this morning. When he comes in this morning, he pushed his head
in. His teeth. It was nothing. It's absolutely nothing. It's 2 people just giving it the big end. Just don't get involved once if you're Schar. But it's absolute shithousery from Brighton Diaz. It really is. Falling on the floor, rolling around. I'd be embarrassed to do it myself personally. But he got the player sent off, and from that moment on, I'm thinking, "Oh, this ain't good for Newcastle." But then for Southampton, still not to have scored a goal and to go and lose a game, it's a disastrous start for them. It really is. They've been given a golden egg, a golden opportunity on the first game of the season, back in the Premier League, and you're still going to lose a game 1-0.
Yeah, and how valuable is it, Watto, to have Nick Pope obviously back in sticks now?
Yeah, we've spoke about some of the goalies at the other teams, and I think Newcastle need him in the goals. I think he's a real reassuring figure behind that back four, and he might not be the flashiest goalie, but there's one thing he does. He dominates his area and he makes big saves.
Stops the ball going in the back of the net.
Stop the ball going back in the net.
That's his job.
And do you know what?
Crazy.
He does his job really well. And actually, if you do watch Newcastle and you get your chance to watch him, he still plays because he has to, because Eddie Howe plays football. So he's got all the attributes to do it. But I'm like you, I think for Southampton going to that game, it's a tough start away at Newcastle for anybody. You'd have taken a point and ran. But when the game falls into your lap, where Newcastle, stupidly, red card, 20-odd minutes, you can't get beat for sure, but you're looking for a bit more, if I'm totally honest. Yeah. And I know they dominated the game and they had lots of chances, and Pope's made 2 or 3 saves, but they never really looked like they were going to get the goal. And it's what you talk about. You need goals in your team if you're going to survive.
And also,
sorry,
also, whenever you play Southampton, they're going to give you a chance.
Yeah.
So even if they scored 2, Newcastle they'll play out from the back and mess it up at some point. Because before that game, we knew they play out from the back. You know what Russell does, and they'll give you a chance.
Yeah, and be careful with that in the Premier League, trying to do that.
You can't give chances away to these international players.
Eddie Howe talked about it after the game, about the fans. Obviously, it was deafening, like when every time Diaz got the ball, for example. Now, as a football fan, I don't really get this, like, how much of an impact the fan makes. You've been to St James's Park multiple times. Like,
they were really nice to be.
But when they're like baying for blood and how much would that get in your head as a Southampton player? Would it get in your head?
It's the character of the player, isn't it? So, in my case, it was playing Villa, beating Villa. We're beating them 2-1 at the time. Last couple of minutes, I'm keeping it in the corner. I literally had fans running down the side of the walkway, spitting and throwing coins at me.
Jesus.
loved it. Loved it. It's like, if it was up to me, I'd be throwing it back, but I'm not allowed. But you know, that in my situation, that made me get better because now I'm on the wind up. And I think you did an episode where you were saying like I loved off like any player or fan that wanted to go against me or my lot. Well, now you're getting it.
Yeah,
and I'll never start it, but I guarantee you I'll finish it.
Yeah.
It was a few weeks ago, and Ben said, "Who's the biggest shithouse you've played with?" And he said, "Troy wasn't a shithouse, but if you're going to give it to Troy, if you're going to be a shithouse to Troy,
oh yeah,
I
could compete with the best in that. Yeah. I've got in people's heads on for about 15 years. So.
It's an ability, it's a skill, isn't it? If you can use it to your advantage and thrive off that
not get too high as well yourself in it. Yeah. So, like, the only time, sometimes it boiled over. The only time it did is when I choked Joe Allen. That's the only time.
Yeah, remember that little Joe Allen? He's holding him down.
Why did you pick on the little fella?
He started, like I said, I never started it. He started on me.
Really good picture of that. We'll find it. Get it on the screen.
He started with
like
me.
Undertaker type.
No, it was, I grabbed his face and I was just squeezing. And
it's the look on your face.
Yeah, and I'm laughing though as I'm doing it. And I remember Kleb said because obviously the drug test was taken upstairs, so it was him, Darren Fletcher for Stoke, and Klebs for us. And Klebs was saying like, "Oh, Joe's like fuming with you." I was like, "Oh, it's no problem. Tell him like I'll come and say sorry, whatever." So no. He said if you would have held 10 seconds longer, he was going to pass out. He said he could feel himself going, so he started kicking shins.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
But I'm a changed man now.
Yeah. What about the goal, Fozzie? Joel Linton. Mate, what a finish.
Yeah, what a player. I think I missed him quite a lot last season when he was injured. I love him though. From what they bought him for was a lot of money, and he got ridiculed. He got absolutely ridiculed.
He had the 9 though, which didn't help.
It's complete, and it weren't really his position. He weren't an out-and-out goal scorer. But look at him now. He's just, I love him. He's the sort of player you want on your team. He's the sort of player every team wants to have. Works his socks off, gets up, gets down, physical, gets involved. You can tell he's a team player. I absolutely love him.
I reckon Newcastle will push a little bit more this season.
I think I've put them down as top 4. Yeah. Personally, I think if they can keep Callum fit as well to dovetail with Isaac, then that helps. They've got goals in the team, which is obviously a massive. When you look at their key parts of their pitch, they've got it sorted. So they've got a great goalkeeper. Got really good midfield. I think Tonali's coming back as well at the end of the month. So, again, another good player coming back in there. Got goals at the top. Their back 4, I would say last year Schar was probably their best centre-half, but now this might make them go get Guehi. Yeah. Now, as you look through that team, the spine of that team is really, really good. So, I think I put them for top 4. No European football again. Nice. I just think they're going to be in a position to do well.
We mentioned Guehi there. Let's talk about Palace then, okay? Because I want to talk about the mechanics of this Marc Guehi deal. If you're Marc Guehi, you're in this situation right now. Newcastle 4th bid, I think, has been rejected so far. 65, 70 odd million quid. Where's your head at if you're Marc Guehi?
I think he's handled it perfectly. Yeah. You do what you should do. Yeah. You play because if you're in a situation. I'm sure, knowing Steve Parish, he would have said to him, look, the fee is this. If they get to this, you can go, no problem. So he's now going, well, we know the fee's there. That's on them to sort. I've had a good summer. Yeah. He's come out, he's one of the few that he's enhanced his reputation with England. Well, if he now goes and doesn't play, he looks like an arsehole and all that's gone. So train well, play well. And then if their deal does get done, he's match fit, he's ready, he goes straight into the Newcastle team. So I think he's an example to loads of young kids now. Totally. That's how you should do it, because he was good. And yesterday he didn't look out of place. He looked bang on. So fair play to him and fair play to Palace. Like the price is the price. If you want him, come and get him. Like, we're not.
It's how a transfer deal should be done, basically.
Yeah, we're not Woolworths, are we? Don't come in and just take some sweets and walk out. Like
Woolworths aren't a thing anymore, by the way.
Is it not?
Rest in peace, Woolworths. They've got them in Australia. They've got them in Australia, Woolworths, haven't they?
They do, yeah. They're big in Australia still, yeah. Watto, what do you make if Guehi leaves? That's a big problem for Palace, right?
I thought Palace yesterday did okay, but I think if you think about him or Eze leaving, which is still a potential before the window, I mean, you would fear for him. But I'm with Troy. I think he's conducted himself amazingly. He was phenomenal in the summer for England. He's come back. Didn't really put a foot out of line yesterday. He's captain of the team. He's behaving as a captain of the team. And if a deal gets done, it gets done. But Eze is the one for them. I'd probably be even more upset if or a Palace fan if I lost him, because he's the one that gives them everything.
Could he get into any team in the Premier League?
I wouldn't say he'd walk into certain teams, but he would be an asset
above the
to
top
certain
two.
teams,
Yeah, anyone above the top two.
He would.
Definitely.
And what about that goal, Watto?
Honestly, I think
This is the Eze free kick that was ruled out.
Look, I think he's absolutely unflecking, unbelievable. I cannot see how, and I've watched it probably 1,000 times now, that why the ref would blow, because whatever happens here in the line here, the ball's gone flown in the net. The ref blows, it's probably 5 yards from going in. And Eze knows it's going in, the goalie knows it's going in. All this fluff here is irrelevant. Yeah. It's a shot that's going in. Wait 3 seconds longer, 2 seconds longer, and he has to give a goal. Because this here, the goalie's not looking at this. Eze's not looking at this. Eze's shot because he's fancied he's got a chance. Yeah. And the ref's just made a real arse of it.
Why would he blow the whistle? Because he's got
I've got to be careful. I didn't even tell you this. So I did the Ipswich game when they got promoted last year. I got there early because it's the final day. The refs come and pulled me for things I said on yours about the wash bags and that. So this gets played in the referee's room. So I need to be very, very careful about what I say, because they was all like, it was a good jest. Like,
it's true though, they do. They're big time nowadays.
Yeah, I know, but like, they weren't too happy that I let everybody else know about it. So no, but I think the frustration for fans and for managers certainly is that it's just the first game of the season. So if anything, be to the letter of the law a bit over the top.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's where there's so much inconsistencies on day one. So for us, it's like, well, did you go to these camps and actually learn anything? Because if you looked at the Chelsea game, do you remember in the City game, Jackson went through, he was miles offside. Yeah, he played on for about 30 seconds. Yeah. And then they go, oh yeah, there's the flag. But then this one, we can't let it run for longer than 2 seconds because
it wasn't even 2 seconds. It was.
I know, but
he's just made a complete.
But it's not even a block. Will Shoes ain't even blocking.
But it's irrelevant, mate.
They're both literally just standing next to each other.
It's a shot from 30 yards wide that's gone in the goal. This bit here does not matter.
Yeah.
And why he's blown, young, inexperienced, whatever. But we were talking off air before. Referees now have got all the backup behind you. So why do you want to make that decision and make yourself look foolish? Just wait.
And you had the opposite situation at the Everton game as well, where the monitor didn't change, did it? And then they're saying there was a backup monitor underneath. It just, from day one, it just looks poor.
Yes.
And I think they would have to say, visually to a fan, it looks poor. Yeah. To managers, you're giving yourself enough of an open door now for people to go, bang, that's not good enough. So, and we're talking about this. By the way, the technique, the strike, and the placement from Eze is ridiculous. That is something you try training, and it's messing about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you might, like, if you're doing the set pieces, you might go, not sure about my keeper's finger. Have a go, see what happens. Yeah. And they'll try it, they'll blast it over the blast. He is knuckleballed. It's posted in.
It's not even the technique. Everything about it, technique's phenomenal. But to look like you're not going to do that as well, right? Yeah. So you got to understand is he's not set up looking at the goal like just because the goalie then would go, oh sweet, I'll just take another step to my left because he's obviously going to shoot. He is making it so inconspicuous. He's just chilling,
looking like he's going to
just
whip
looking at the rest of the lad, maybe pointing at him. Lads, just on your head, yeah. Try as soon as I whip it, mate. He's doing all of that kind of stuff, and then last second, bang. Zips it in the... Oh, it's phenomenal.
Mate, it's genius.
It's genius.
The ref's cost him money. And he's cost Palace, to be fair. Because if you go 1-0 up, the whole dynamic of that, within 2 minutes... Yeah. That's football, isn't it? Within 2 minutes, inside, boom.
I liked Palace. I thought they were sneaky. My bet for top 8. Yeah. But I after watching them, I'm a little bit confused. So they've gone and signed Ismail Assar, who we know really well, who is a wide player that he's get to touchline, cross it. Now they kind of play with, like, inverted 10s. Yeah. So I'm like...
That's not going
to suit his strengths. No. And then obviously you got Elise coming back as well. So it's like the
Elise going. Elise gone.
Elise going. You put the Japanese lad who came in. Yeah. Yes, he came in from Lazio, very good player, but he's got to now adapt. So when you take him out, you have to put Jordan Ayew in, who you didn't want to put. Yeah. It just gets a little bit confusing. I thought the way they played and what they wanted to do was great, but I still worry about the Mateta and Eduardo. As can you consistently score goals? Yeah. I'm not sure. And, you know, I thought at the start of the season top 8, but now after watching, again, it's only one game, I can see how they get picked off a lot more now, and it'll be a...
And if they lose a couple before that window.
Yeah.
But I'd centre-half or Eze, if I were any of the big ones, I'd be looking at taking them.
And with the window coming up then, Ivan Toney. What we saying? He's been left out the squads. Fozzie,
I think it's fair to say, though, it's not him. They left him out the squad.
Yeah,
He wanted to play.
are they protecting him there? So because of an injury?
No, they're saying there's so much money
Can't risk it.
potentially
Yeah,
on
don't
the table.
risk it.
Yeah, because again, I have to be careful because I know Ivan. So he wanted to play, trained, all ready to play. They made the decision Friday.
So basically, what's going on? Something's going on behind the scenes with regards to a transfer. A lot of money involved by the sounds of it, and instead of putting him out on the pitch and him picking up a little injury that might rule him out of that transfer, Brentford have gone, "No, do you know what? It's best if you just sit this one out, mate."
And it might be happening a little bit sooner than we.
Yeah, I would say by the sounds of it that it's kind of imminent. Then by the sounds of it, really, whether he stays in the Premier League or there's a couple of Saudi teams linked with him as well. Massive money if he goes to Saudi, by the way.
I want him to stay in the Premier League, though. You know, like, you don't want to look after your families and all them things, but all that can come to him. He's at the peak of his powers. I want him to go to a big Premier League team because I think he's got the capability to do it. Brentford are still going to get the money, whether it's potentially, say, Arsenal or the Saudi League. But I think for him, just do it at a big club in this country. The Saudi Pro League will come, you know what I mean?
All right. Quick question then. Chelsea offer you 150 grand a week to go there. And a Saudi team offers you 400 grand a week to go there.
Load up the plane. But it's different.
I don't think I could cope with a London lifestyle, so I have to go.
Exactly.
You like the warmth, don't you?
There we go.
And what about Watto? What about Brentford this season? Obviously, they were a little bit lower down last season than they have been in previous years. A lot of injuries. Yeah. What's your expectation?
I like them as a club. I think they've done the right things. I think the manager is very, very good. And hey, look, the Toney, if he leaves, it'll be a big thing for him. But I think they'll kick on from what they did last year. I think last year was just a real flash in the pan for them because it didn't.
It just fizzled out.
Yeah, I think they've got enough to keep going. I think Thomas Frank's a real good manager.
I just think on the Ivan thing, I think Ivan's a massive fish there. That if he moves out, they've got Embuemo's very good. They've got Whistle very good. I think they then get into this space of like they have to work to be the main man.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
So like if Ivan comes out, it may be like, all right then, come a step up. And they bought the boy who got injured in.
That's the problem. He's done his knee,
yeah. So if he comes back, let's say January, they still got
another 30 million on him. So I mean, they're spending big.
And that's where I think that's why I think Ivan has to go in that regard because you've already spent the money thinking that would have already come in. So there's a balance in the books that's got to be happening.
Where Fozzie, where would be a good fit for Ivan Toney?
I think he's going Saudi, so it doesn't really matter where the perfect fit is. But there's plenty of Premier League teams need a striker. Everybody needs a striker.
The team that striker. Man United.
Everybody needs a striker.
Man United all day, every day. That's the one that you look at the style, you go, right, they need a target man that can look after the ball, someone that can link it with players running in behind. Marcus, Garnacho, they like to run in behind without the ball. And then they always get into wide positions and they cross it and they've got like Bruno Fernandes trying to head it, which is not his game. Do you know what I mean? So balls in the box, he will score. But they have just invested heavily last year on a striker. So to do it again is questionable.
Bit of experience as well, though, Troy, because United have signed a lot of young players. Having someone like Ivan Toney with his pedigree.
But also, I think Rude's perfect for him. Rude van Nistelrooy. You know better than me, but one of the best strikers we've ever seen in this league in terms of finishing.
Natural finisher.
He's only going to take Ivan to the next level.
Yeah. So, and it's guaranteed as well. It's guaranteed. It's a guaranteed investment. So whether he costs 40, 50, 60 mil and he's on a couple hundred, it doesn't matter. It's guaranteed. He very rarely gets injured. You know he'll do a job for you 7 or 8 out of 10 every single Saturday. And he's done it in the Premier League for years. So it's a very sound, safe investment.
Is there that bit of tax, do you think, Ben? Because we were talking last week about Solanke going to Tottenham, and I said, it's a lot of money. And you went, well, no, because if you sign someone for 40 or 50 million...
it's still a lot of money.
But you know he's done it in the Prem.
But that's the bit there is there's a lot of players that you will spend 50, 60 million quid on and it doesn't translate from the Italian league or the Spanish league. It just doesn't translate. The Premier League is so much higher tempo and every single team will give you a game. You come from those other leagues and if you play for one of the big boys, you're winning the majority of your games. You're running them over, rolling them over. You don't get that in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm. There we go then. Right, what are we saying? Is it time for...
quiz time. Right, Jamie, you got your 10 questions.
I've got my 11 questions just in case we've got a tiebreaker.
Ooh, I like it. I like
Don't
it.
show him.
Don't show me. I don't look.
I'm
I
in the
wouldn't
corner.
look.
No one can see.
There's going to be probably, I work for you. There'll be 10 Watford questions this week.
11.
Sorry.
Come on then, let's go.
Question 1. What club was Joe Cole and Michael Carrick?
West Ham.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Are you sure you've not read these questions?
Right, that was so
No,
quick.
but it's too quick, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It was good.
Question 2. Who were Manchester United playing on the final day of the season when Aguero scored that goal?
QPR.
No.
Wigan.
When Man City won the Premier League? No.
Oh,
Who were Man United playing?
yeah.
United.
Really good
I know the
question.
answer.
Oh, I think it's one of two.
Really
Were
good
Manchester
question.
United playing on
Villa.
the final day?
No.
No, I already know the answer to that.
I know it, yeah. Oh, my God.
I've done that.
It's a really, really good question.
I know.
Jay, just quickly, can you clarify?
Do we want the come back in rule?
Well, there was a few that said they
Whoa.
liked it and a few that
I
said
like
they
it.
didn't.
I like it.
But do you have to wait for Jamie to say, right, you're all back in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have to wait.
All right.
Okay.
Reading.
No. Okay. You're all back in.
West Ham.
No and
Sunderland.
no. Sunderland's the correct answer.
Right.
And what was the score?
Good.
They won.
They won
2-0.
2-0.
I think it was 1-0.
1-0.
Oh.
Do you know what it is? When I said Wigan, I went straight for Giggsy's last game.
Yeah.
When Giggsy
Okay. Yeah, it
scored.
was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't
Really good question, that.
Well done, Jimmy.
He said,
I
he said, I've got this.
knew they flyed up in North East.
You remember? Because they got the video, and like Phil Jones is
Yeah,
there.
they're all
and stuff
waiting,
like that
they're
on
all
the
wait-
pictures.
waiting.
Yeah, waiting.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So Troy gets the point on that one.
Okay.
Question 3. Who scored the first goal in this Premier League season?
Anana.
Xerxes.
Xerxes.
Xerxes is the correct answer. What I
Who did you say?
I don't know.
Right there, Ben.
Every minute, didn't it? But it was on the Sunday.
It was Saturday at Friday.
It was, wasn't it?
It was 8 games before.
Who got that? Troy?
No.
Watto.
Oh, just before.
Just
before.
hang in there.
Question 4 is a who am I question.
Oh, he loves these.
Jamie, you are, aren't you?
Yeah.
I've scored 34 goals for New Zealand.
Chris Wood.
Chris Wood, and it was
Thank you. It was Ben, and you know it.
Oh, Tom,
Ben,
eh?
and you
Then he-
know it.
then, I thought that was there. I thought Ben was louder,
Should we
Tom
go
was
to VAR?
first.
VAR?
Yeah.
Luke, we're going to have to give it to Tom.
I think it was me.
Yeah.
I think- I think-
Can
I
say it was me?
He said it loud, so.
I think Tom said it first, you said it louder, personally.
Bullshit. Right, play it back on the VAR really slowly.
Oh, but
if
we
you
know
beat me,
it's
fair
the
enough.
same season as last year. VAR shit. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
but it's guaranteed. You'll be able to see. Play it back slowly, and if it's his, I'll give it him anyway. But we'll see.
I'm just pleased to be off the board.
It's one's all round, right?
One more.
Yeah,
Yeah, one's
it's
around.
perfect. Perfect.
I don't mind, honestly.
I'm not angry.
Troy, you've seen him over the years. He does this with everything. I bet you're the same though, aren't you?
No. I'm a lot calmer than him. Go on.
Fine.
Deep breath.
Not what I've heard.
Question 5. How long was Eric Cantona's ban for his kung fu
9 months.
kick? 9 months is the correct
Thank you.
answer.
Fucking good. He's helped to write these because they're not even finishing the question.
Yeah.
I think he has.
Suspicious.
Nope.
Question 6. Which goalkeeper has kept the most clean sheets in Premier League
Check.
history? That's the correct answer.
I expected you to get that.
Wow.
Oh,
Fozzie,
You know
you're
where I
on
was
it
go-
today,
you know where I was going
mate.
there, Fozzie? I was going Schwarzer just for longevity. Mark
Yeah.
Schwarzer, but that's
So
stupid.
Petr Cech
You're on it
202,
today.
Might have played with them some of the most minutes, Schwartz, actually.
which was 45.6% of the games he kept the clean sheet. Wow.
40 what?
45%.
45.6 of his games he kept the clean sheet.
That's ridiculous.
That is
162 for Chelsea, 40 for
Not good
Arsenal.
with his feet though, so wouldn't actually get a game anymore.
Yeah.
wouldn't play no more.
Yeah.
Mark Schwarzer, 152 in third, and David James, 169 in second.
Jamo.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Question 7. 1, 3, 1, 1.
Yeah, we
Up
got it.
against it, anyway. Up against it, yeah.
Thanks for that, Ches.
Apart from the goalkeepers, which 3 outfield players played every minute of last Premier League season?
We've got to get all three.
No, one of them. Got to name one. Of them.
Oh,
Can you name one of the 3 outfield players, despite the goalkeepers?
Lewis Dunk?
No.
Sure.
No.
no. Oh my God. That's a really good question.
Good question. It is a good
Can you
question.
name one of the 3 outfield players to play every minute of last Premier League season, not including the goalkeepers?
Virgil van Dijk.
No.
No.
I'm going to go with him. if I got.
So everyone's gone.
Everyone's
I'll
gone,
get,
so
I
you-
get a
yeah.
little bit of time.
We'll have to do a
You got
countdown soon.
Jamie will be on the clock soon.
Dan
Troy.
Burn.
No, but before we're all back in, it is a defender. There's
Yeah.
3 defenders, so you're all back in.
Gay.
No,
You're out.
you're out.
Gabriel.
No.
Oh no.
Saliba.
Saliba is one of them.
Damn
Yeah.
it.
The other one was Max Kilman and James Tarkovsky.
Oh, it's good.
Tarkovsky.
They were good.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's good.
You're all good
thought
with
about that
defenders,
one.
though.
We knew he was a defender.
Yeah.
Because they could be shit and still
Yeah.
play, that's why.
Yeah.
They normally are, aren't they?
Yeah, edit kick it.
Just
Blame
say-
everybody else.
So Watto got the point on that one. Question
nice.
8. Who is the youngest player to score a Premier League hat-trick?
Wayne Rooney.
No.
That was really quick.
Walcott.
No.
No.
This is really good question.
Good question, Jay. It's a really good question. Well done.
There's one, but I don't. Oh no, he's a bit too old.
Who is the youngest player?
Youngest player to score a hat trick.
Premier League hat-trick, yeah.
Are we still doing
I've
this all
got
back
one.
in?
No, he's got
Yeah,
one.
I have to wait.
Well, yeah, you've got to give him a time.
I'm waiting. I know him to go.
Jermaine Pennant?
No. Just Troy.
Arsenal. I was watching something with him the other day, and
I was gonna go. This is not my answer. I was gonna
Well, you
go, I was gonna go Reyes, but I'm gonna go Jermaine Defoe.
It's not Jermaine Defoe.
Are we all back in?
You're all back in.
Evan Ferguson.
No.
See how sure I was. See how sure I was. I was keeping it cool as well.
I'm going to go Bentner.
No.
I want to go old school then. Alan Shearer.
No.
Alvarez.
No. Michael Owen.
Oh, my
Mickey.
18
I went old school.
years and
Yeah.
62 days.
I worked too far.
18.
Scores on the board. We've got 1 for Tom, 3 for Ben, 2 for Watto, and 1 for Troy.
Cool.
He's on it today, Benny boy. To be fair.
Just throw it out all sorts of names. Evan Ferguson. Good shout.
Good, isn't it?
Which English club was Rafa Benitez managing at the longest?
Liverpool.
Correct. Is the correct answer.
Didn't need you to get that. Didn't want you to get
I
that.
know, I could tell with your eyes when you
Couldn't
looked at
even-
me that way.
Didn't get any words out there so quick. You look back, I'm just.
Come on, we'll get this, Troy. Want to just to take it to the tie break.
Question 10. Who is the highest Spanish goal scorer in Premier League history?
Fernando Torres.
Fernando Torres is the correct answer with
Very good,
85
Tom.
goals.
Very good.
Tie break.
David Silva with 60 and Costa with 53. Question 11.
This is the tie break.
Yeah.
How many goals did Torres score?
Fernando Torres scored 85.
Not 100 club. I thought he might be like.
So this is tie break between Ben and Watto, yeah?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Tiebreaker, question 11 between.
So is it
We're
just
out.
me and Watto?
We're out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guys
you
are
can
out,
help. You can help me
unfortunately.
if you want.
I can't help myself.
So, question 11, tiebreaker. Garnacho won goal of the season last year, but who provided
Everton.
the assist?
Shit!
And it was in Everton.
Take your
Hey,
time.
what at Everton, yeah.
Was it Everton? I thought
Yes!
it was Fulham.
Pickford
No,
just sort of
Pickford.
waved it in.
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Think about
Garnacho
which side did
won
it come
goal
from.
of the
You
season
get
last year.
so aggy.
Who provided the assist?
Are we all back in, are we?
You've
Shut
got to
up.
wait until I say it.
Need to order a new sofa as well, by the way.
Look
You
at it, I
should
wasn't
know this
getting
as
hit.
well. It's probably their player of the year.
Really haven't
last
got a
year.
clue.
Cost it, was it? Yeah.
Delort.
Dello is the correct
Yes!
Come on, what a start!
I think that was that an assist from Troy.
No, nothing. Honestly, on everything I've got, and I've got fuck all. Nothing. Come on.
Well done, Watto, on the board.
Listen, if I can't win, I just don't want him to win.
To be fair, I can get on board with that, Troy.
Well done, Watto, winning the quiz.
My hands are sweating.
Who won last week?
Oh, gosh.
Ben won last week.
Wow, he's out the blocks.
You deserve that, mate. You were brilliant there. Brilliant.
Came from nowhere.
Oh, you're fantastic
Tom,
today.
just well done for beating him on the.
The Torres one.
Well done, lads.
Darcy the
I think
Dogs.
They were the best quiz questions we've had in a
Yes,
while.
very good question.
Yeah, well done,
Very
James.
good question.
Really, really good. Everybody, Troy, incredible. Watto, you're the man. Tom, fantastic. Jamie, you weren't bad either. Luke, amazing.
That's your name, Jamie.
Jamie,
I've
yeah.
only ever called you Chesney.
Chesney, yeah.
That's me, Jamie. Yeah. Years in the making. Isn't it?
See you next week. All the best.
I never knew your name was Jamie.
Chesney.
always-
I think I might
Chesil
soon
Scold-
go.
Chesil
Yeah.
Scolding.
Yeah.
That was.
English guy named Chesney.
Yeah.